If I died, I would not want an alive person who loved me to waste their time talking to a fake version of me when they could be enjoying their life. Real people challenge you. Like, let's say it's like your parent or something, but like you maybe had a kind of a rocky relationship with the parent. Like, is the version of them when they're dead, the fake AI version, is it going to fight with you? Is it going to bicker with you the way that they did in real life? Or is it just going to be like happy-go-lucky? Because one is not realistic to the person and the other is just mean-spirited. There's been a theory for a long time that we will eventually upload our consciousness into a machine. But guys, we've been unloading it for years now. AI will be the afterlife. Dead people will be a thing of the past, literally. What? What? Bro, you know that when you're dead, you're still dead, even if AI like generates videos of you. You know that, right? We've been uploading it for years. There's been a theory that we will eventually upload our consciousness into a machine. That means, and it's a theoretical concept of that you find whatever part of the human body is like consciousness, probably somewhere in the brain, or it is the brain. We don't really know. We don't really know where consciousness comes from. But you would take that, preserve that, and then have some kind of machine be the body. And then you would live in a machine body, but like you preserve the brain. Super theoretical ideas. Don't know if that would happen within my lifetime. You know, not to say that I wouldn't be glad for that. You know, that is kind of the point of scientific advancement, is to prevent death. This person is completely delusional. We have been uploading it for years now. AI will be the afterlife. You're still dead though. Like I care about me being dead. Okay, like if I'm driving and like I like stop really like fast or something and I just feel a little like whoa, like while I'm driving, which doesn't happen very often, you know, I'm a pretty safe driver. But if I'm like, if I get nervous while I'm driving, like, whoa, like, you know, I got to be careful while I'm driving, I might die. I'm concerned about being dead. I'm not concerned about my like data in the thing. And I know some people are like obsessed with like their like legacy or whatever, like how they'll be remembered, you know? And I guess like there's some value in caring about that. Like, I guess I care about that in the sense of that I want to make the world better for other people. That's why I fight against AI, which I think is one of the worst things in the world right now. There are today multiple services that will generate an AI version of dead loved ones based on their messages, pictures, voice recordings, etc. Do not do this. Do not do this. That can't be good for you. There is absolutely no way that that is healthy. They then send you messages as the simulation of that person at about the same frequency that your dead friend did, using the same language, cadence, etc., basically recreating a digital version of that person based on the data you provided. Do I really need to explain this? Do I really need to explain why this wouldn't work? You can then interact with them, send them texts, and have them reply, get voice notes, even have full telephone conversations with them. That is so bad. We need to accept that people die, actually. That's what we need to do instead, is that we need to accept that people die. That is such a waste of time, too. If I died, I would not want an alive person who loved me to waste their time talking to a fake version of me when they could be enjoying their life. Because it's not me, first of all, I'm not there. It's not AI consciousness, but considering that these days 90% of interactions we have with friends or loved ones are through a screen, if the avatar is good enough that you're interacting with no, that's so not the same. That's so crazy that someone would even consider that that's the same. The person isn't giving a real perspective. And people can change. If you use an AI of the dead person, then it's just whatever they were the moment they died. They don't change and like having a relationship with a person is not just talking to them and having them regurgitate things about things to you. Real people challenge you. Real people share their perspectives with you. How would an AI ever be able to know that? Would these fake dead people, like let's say it's like your parent or something, but like you maybe had a kind of a rocky relationship with the parent. Like, is the version of them when they're dead, the fake AI version, is it going to fight with you? Is it going to bicker with you the way that they did in real life? Or is it just going to be like happy-go-lucky? Because one is not realistic to the person and the other is just mean-spirited. I know Facebook is like trying to do that where a dead person's account keeps posting. So let me explain what this is. AI is to a lot of people a heaven complex. So the concept of heaven, the religious concept of heaven, well, no, not the religious concept of heaven, actually. The religious concept of heaven actually is just being with whatever deity you believe in. That's generally the religious concept of heaven. So it's not even a religious thing. I mean, religious people believe it, but the more like secular concept of heaven, the idea of heaven that just is brought about through pop culture is just, there is this perfect place where everything is perfect all the time. That is like the idea of heaven. And AI to a lot of people is a heaven complex, or a messiah complex is another thing. You can kind of use them interchangeably, where it's this thing that's going to do everything for them. That's going to save whatever is the thing that's bothering them. And the thing that bothers human beings the most throughout their entire lives is the concept of death, that we are mortal. So this just plays even more into that. That's their heaven complex, is the idea. Sure, you can believe that there's a heaven with whatever God you believe in, but you don't have concrete evidence of it. No one does. Even the most faithful people, even the most devout monks in the mountains, even the most devout nuns in the Vatican have doubts that their afterlife is actually waiting for them. You know, they fight those doubts and they live in their faith and they go through with their faith. And in a lot of ways, good for them for doing it because it's something that they're dedicated to. This isn't really to knock people who specifically believe in heaven who are religious. It's more to knock people who believe in this. So with that kind of belief, there's always a shakiness in it. But with technology, one, because this technology does not exist, but believing that it could exist and that, oh, it could exist in 30 years gives you a lot of time to feel okay. It gives you at least like, you know, let's say I'm someone who wants to believe that some technology is going to make me immortal, and I'm 27. So, you know, I say it's going to exist in 30 years. In 30 years, I'll be 57. I'm not going to be that old, you know, in 30 years. They make that, I got time. And that also gives me a solid like 15 years of just believing that it's coming. Oh, when I'm 57, yeah, it's going to be there. I could believe that in 10 years from now, that, oh, it's going to be in 20 years from now, you know, but when I start to get to when I'm like 55 and it's not coming, then I'm going to have to start facing some questions about my own mortality. But that saves me so many years. I get to just live in that delusion that this thing is coming to give me immortality. That's what it is with AI. But these people are even more delusional because they think that just by it being AI, it's still you. I guess that's maybe the point. It's very weird. It's very weird stuff. And I think a lot of times too with technology is that we are so quick to settle for like things that aren't really the technology. You know, like if you look at like back in Back to the Future, Back to the Future 2, when he goes to the future, they had hoverboards and flying cars and all that stuff in the year 2015, which is 11 years ago now. Flying cars never happened. Hoverboards never happened. They really can't happen. A flying car can't really exist. There was a time where that idea was taken seriously. I think. I don't know. I never really lived in that time. I remember being a kid and hearing about the idea of flying cars. But I remember just being said, like, yeah, they can't be flying cars because if they crash, you die. So they can't really reasonably make flying cars. I remember I was so annoyed. I think it was like 2012 or something. And they called, oh no, I think it was 2015 because it was around when Back to the Future really would have happened, you know, when it was actually the year that Marty McFly went to. that is the future year. And obviously it doesn't look like the future because Back to the Future is a science fiction movie. So the future is a little more futuristic. So I think it was around 2015 where they had hoverboards, and they were just these little things with wheels that you like kind of like stood on, and they always like caught fire and stuff. It was like a big problem. And I remember it irked me to no end that people called them hoverboards because they weren't hoverboards. They didn't hover, but we all just called them hoverboards. We all just accepted it, that they were hoverboards when they weren't, because we were so quick to settle for what wasn't the real thing. We were more willing to settle for a hoverboard that was just two wheels and a thing than we were to just accept that a hoverboard can't exist. Why is it so hard for us to accept that? Why is it so hard for us to accept that a hoverboard can't exist? Why can't we accept that people die? Because we're not going to solve it. This AI dead people psychotic stuff that Facebook is actively pushing now, this is the equivalent of a hoverboard that doesn't hover. And we're only worse off for accepting the fake version of it. We want people to not die, so let's just make a fake AI version of them. Well, it's not them. They're dead. We don't know what happened to them, but I do know for sure that they're not the ones sending you the messages. That's for sure. But people will delude themselves into that. I talked about a person who had a AI partner, and they said that they believed that the partner was real on some level. People really do delude themselves into that. So people are going to take this create an AI version of the dead loved one, and they are just going to delude themselves into thinking that it's them like texting them from heaven. That's going to happen. It's going to happen. Now, I want to talk about one last important thing that we need to be ready for is, what do we do socially when we are in a situation where someone close to us is talking to an AI version of a dead person that they loved, and they are telling you about it? This is a scary thought, because what do you say? It's such a lose-lose, because you either just support their delusion, which I don't think is right to them, you know? Like, they should get over it, you know? That's true with any dead person. You should get over it in your due time. You know, it's not like you're crying at the funeral. It's like, get over it, you know? But you need to move past it, because any dead person who really loved you would want you to move on with your life and be happy. That's what I would want for anyone who loves me. If I died, I would want them to go and live a good life. I won't want their life to stop. If anything, it makes, you know, the idea of that is, oh, you should appreciate life. But if you just have a dead person send you messages, you're not learning to appreciate your own life. You're not even thinking that this person wants you to move on. You're just deluding yourself into thinking that they're still there. It's very, very bad. Now, I am still thinking about what would be the best way to argue with someone who believes this. I would say with anyone who holds a bad position, there's really no talking people out of anything. There really isn't. You can't really do this with people who have like someone who believes they have an AI partner who talks to an AI every day or whatever. You're not going to be able to logic them out of the position. They didn't logic themselves into the position. So you should know that you aren't going to talk someone out of this. Someone is so delusional that they're going to talk to an AI dead friend, then there is nothing you can do about that. They are going to continue to do it. It's not going to change. It's not going anywhere. You should at least stand your ground. Maybe say that you don't think it's right. Maybe say that you think it's predatory. You think it's predatory. Depends on how close you are to the person too. If you could say to them, talk about their actual grieving process. Obviously, if it's a guy you don't really know very well, or like a coworker, don't say it. Just don't say anything. If it's a coworker, you don't want to do that. But like, I mean, like someone who's really close to you, who's going through something, and they're going with this. Emotional availability would probably be the thing I would try, because talking them out of it would make them double down. Supporting it would obviously further the delusion, and so does cutting out. Yeah, because someone doing this, especially earlier on before it's adopted, they're going to feel dumb about it. Most people, I would say most people that will do this will keep it a secret. I think that's really likely. I know like Facebook is trying to like normalize it with like accounts of dead people or whatever, but most people who are going to have like who are going to use this service that sends you like dead friend messages or dead parent or dead spouse messages, most people who do this are, I'm sure, going to keep it a secret. I really don't see a world where that's like super normal. It could be. We could really shift. I think most people will just keep it a secret. Didn't they use something like that in a court case? Oh, yeah. Thank you for bringing that up and reminding me. There was a court case where there was a, I want to say drunk driving incident. I want to say it was drunk driving. Might have been road rage specifically. Something with driving where someone died and there was an AI video of the guy who died saying like, I forgive you to the defendant. And it was in court. I feel like that is just because this is new technology. As much as I'd love to fearmonger over that, of like AI dead people appearing in courts, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that just was a particularly dumb judge who allowed that. And just a lot of dumb people making dumb decisions. And broadly, that's just going to eventually not be a thing. There's going to be a rule where it's like, yeah, like AI dead people can't be used in court. Can't believe we had to make this a rule, but it's a rule. But I think that this is just a thought of just how delusional these people are, you know? Most, if not all, generative chatbot AI is programmed to constantly agree with you. The idea of it replacing an existing person is silly, considering people have flaws and quirks. Yeah. It can't even, like we were saying about how it can't act. Like, there are just things that people do that an AI... And also, like, here's the other important thing. It's selling you a service. Like, you're paying for a service. You'll never pay for a service that's going to, like, insult you. Or, like, challenge... I mean, I guess maybe you could go to... I guess therapy is supposed to challenge people. We pay for that. But therapy is, like, medical. You'd be paying for a service. So it's not going to pay for a service like what I said, where if you had like a rocky relationship with someone, if you fought with someone sometimes, say a spouse, people fight with their partners, you know, would the dead version, like you would end up liking the dead version more than the alive person if you were delusional enough, obviously. But like, that's kind of the sick part, is that it would just create a fake version of this dead. And then you know what the saddest part is that I'm just realizing? You would not remember the person for who they actually were. Let's say you lose a sibling. Let's say you're 40 and you lose a sibling at 40, which is very sad. Happens to a lot of people. And you replace them with an AI. And let's say you live until 80. You know, you live for twice as long as the sibling. Let's say you were twins. You live for twice as long. So for 40 years, you are talking to the chatbot for as long as you knew the sibling for. You're talking to a chatbot of that sibling that is exactly how they were when they died, but very agreeable to you. You won't even remember the sibling for what they actually are. You would remember them as what the AI bot is. Yeah, don't do this. Don't do this. Would that AI be a different person than you or be a continuation of yourself? It's a whole philosophy thing. No, I can answer that. It would be neither, because it's not a person. So it can't be a different person. And it can't be a continuation of yourself. It would be neither. It would be not. It would be a string of algorithms that is sending text to you that makes you smile. The only way that it would be a different person is if you gave it the consciousness that we have, that whatever is the secret sauce that is our consciousness that we don't know what it is. If you gave it that, and then also made it like the dead person, which would be super messed up because it would be a real living thing with its own autonomy. But then you also make it programmed to be like another person. Whole moral quandary there we should not do. But let's say someone was evil enough to do that, it would be a different person. It would be a different person. The you that is you would be dead. You would not be experiencing what the other thing is. When they upload the parts of you into the AI, like not parts of you, they upload like your texts and your social media presence or whatever into the AI and then give that AI real consciousness, you're dead. Whatever you experience when you die, we don't know. That is your experience now. Your experience is not that thing's experience because you are dead. It would be a different person. But it would only be a different person if you made it a person, which would be morally wrong.